Hey y'all, so I'm going to play you that video collab that me and Zelda did again. I'm just going to play this as the intro before I get into the video. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, it's just a collab. Zelda went out and she found this portal on the Bridge of the Gods and she filmed it and she sent it to me and she said, Tiff, can you add some effects and edit this and kind of make it, become Chad and Lori's portal, just for like a comedy, funny video. So I edited it and added some things and put it together and tried to, add Lori and Chad into the portal and all this stuff. And so here it is. And for those of you that already seen it and you want to skip, I'll put the timestamp of where you could skip it and start into the video if you have already seen it and you don't want to watch it again, and you could just get right into the video. So I'll put the timestamp in the description. Okay, so here it is.
Here we have it, folks. This is Chad and Lori Daybell's portal potty. Yes, and it is right convenient here. Let me show you where we are. Chad, Lori, get ready for liftoff. Yes, here it is. Chad and Lori, here you go. Here's your bridge. And we have your closet portal here, ready for Chad and Lori. Seating for wine. Chad can put his legs across the side. Lori can sit on his lap. There you go. Chad and Lori's portal potty. Right here at the Bridge of the Gods. You got it.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So I had this idea that I was going to go through the hearing, Chad Daybell's hearing, and pick out, just see, Predator Pryor, John Pryor, his lawyer, had some things that he would say over and over. So I wanted to make a compilation of some of the stuff that he said over and over. So there's like, quite honestly, he said that so many times. Sometimes he said it like 3 times in one sentence. So I just wanted to put together like a compilation of some of his sayings all together from both days. I went through both days. So not only was I picking out some of, some of his some of his famous things that he liked to say over and over. So I went through both days. So not only did I go through them and it gave me a better listen of everything that happened, but also I was focusing on his lawyer, John Pryor, to see some of the things that he would say over and over and just try to find some kind of humor in his mean ways. He was so awful. But one thing that I did notice as I was going through, really watching intently on him and Chad, he not once did he ever call Lori Miss Daybell. He called her Miss Vallow every single time. And not once did Chad correct him. And it's not because Chad is like, oh, I'm not going to correct him, or he's intimidated, or I'm not going to, correct him in the middle of him talking. No, because Chad corrected him. I'm going to play you a couple clips where he corrected him when he said Miss Gibbs' name wrong.
Miss Gibbs, I apologize.
And he corrected him when he said Officer Gilbert instead of Pillar. And
so at least at that point, we have 2 phone calls with Officer Gilbert, correct? Officer Gilbert, Officer Pillar. I'm sorry. I apologize. Officer Pillar. I can't get Gilbert, Arizona out of my mind. Officer Pillar.
So he leaned over and corrected him a couple times when he said some names wrong. So it's not that Chad just didn't want to correct him because it was in the middle of a hearing and he just thought it was inappropriate, because that's not the case. I think the more that I thought about it, think about this. First of all, every time Lori had a hearing, and Chad was there for her first ones before he got arrested himself, he heard her stress, I want to be called Miss Daybell, not I want to be called Mrs. Daybell, not Mrs. Vallow or Miss Vallow, whatever. I know they interchange like Mrs. with Miss, but basically she wanted the name Daybell and not Vallow. And he heard that. And my theory is, a lot of people are saying they think she is going to roll over on him. And this goes along with what I've been thinking the whole time, that he is going to roll on her. I've been just having, I don't know, just something about just watching everything go down. I've always thought that, no, it's going to be the other way around. He's going to roll on her. And okay, guys, so I'm sitting here editing my video that I recorded last night. And I don't know why I keep saying roll over. Is that even I guess it's a term when you roll over on somebody, like I guess the better word for it would probably be that he's going to throw her under the bus. He's going to rat her out. He's going to maybe take a deal to basically save himself. Rollover is just a term that some of my friends used, I guess, that I heard growing up. So when I'm sitting here editing it, I'm hearing myself saying, oh, you're going to roll over. I'm like, what? Do I talk like that? I don't talk like that. What am I using that word? But I mean, I just wanted to add this in here that I don't even know if I had to add this, but I just thought I would, because I don't know if everybody would call it rolling over. It'd be more like just ratting somebody out, I think, is a more common expression for that. And in the famous words of Predator Pryor, I quite honestly wish I would have just said it differently in my original recording, so I didn't have to do this little voiceover and be annoying. Why do I use some of the words I use sometimes? You know, when you're editing, you're like, gosh, why did I call it that? But now it's like too late. It's already recorded, so I gotta make do with what I got, deal with it, and use what silly words I use sometimes. But okay, so I'm done with this little rant. Now this confirms it, because the more I think about this, is he is letting his lawyer call her Miss Vallow this for the whole 2 days, and I'm sure he's going to do it in the trial because he didn't correct him, knowing that Lori does not want to be called Miss Vallow. She cannot stand Charles Vallow. She doesn't want that name. So that's a very big insult to Lori. And for Chad to basically, it's his lawyer. I could see if it was the prosecutor, but it's his lawyer that he's letting, or maybe having him call Lori Vallow, shows me that he's not proud to have her as his wife. Like, Lori's proud to take his name, and Lori wants that Daybell, and she wants to be called Daybell. That shows you that she's still proud that he's her husband. But the fact that he's not respecting her and he's calling her Miss Vallow, that is showing you that he's not respecting her. He's not proud to have her his wife. What does that tell you? The fact that he has no respect and he is insulting her like that, because to her it's an insult, tells me what's to come. That possibly it's going to be him rolling over on her. It's going to be him doing everything that he can to be free. So if it means blaming Lori for some stuff, I mean, I'm sure he's going to go about it in a way where, I don't know if he'll just like say it all, but he's going to go the route where he has to go and say enough that he has to say to free himself. I think it's going to be him, because I feel like it's very telling, because that's what made me, I kept thinking every time, especially I was really curious to see how she would act right after they found JJ and Tylee. That hearing right after that, I was really surprised to see her say, no, Miss Daybell, and like be still proud of that. So, because I was thinking, you know, right after that, I was thinking, wait, is she gonna act like, oh, I didn't know anything about it. Chad said they were safe, and like kind of blame all on Chad and Alex. Like, I didn't know nothing about it. He said they were safe. I trusted him. I trusted Chad. But the fact that she was so proud and she's like, nope, I want to be called Miss Daybell, shows me that she's going to stand by him, I think. And it's going to be him that's going to roll over on her. That's just my opinion. That's just my theory. Just because I know it's just as little as a name, but I feel like it's kind of telling that it is a big deal. It might not seem like the name thing is a big deal, but I think it is because he knows that's an insult. And for him to have his lawyer keep calling her Vallow. So whether he told his lawyer to call her Vallow or either way, he didn't correct him, and he did correct him on other things. So I think if it's a matter of trying to save himself, he is going to blame it on her somehow and to get out of this. I think, and I think she, as far as now, it sounds like she is, well, okay, so wonder if she would have been aware of the hearing because she, waived her preliminary hearing rights a couple days after that was Thursday. So Chad had his preliminary hearing was Monday and Tuesday, and then she waived hers on that Thursday. So I wonder now that she knows, wonder if she knows that they were calling her Miss Vallow and that Chad's lawyer was calling her Miss Vallow and Chad didn't correct it. So maybe she's got a little hint that, he's calling me Vallow. Maybe he is going to roll on me. So maybe if she senses that he's going to, that she'll try to do it first. But I think it's Chad that was basically backing down first, I should say. Or not backing down, but was going to turn on her first, I feel like. So I still think it's going to be, but I don't know. Maybe she's a little upset and she did catch a wind that he was calling her Vallow. And now, I don't know. We read that Adelina sent me that thing on that live, reasons why somebody may waive their right. And there could have been many. All the reasons seem like, wow, this could fall. This could fit. This could be the reason. If she wasn't aware that he was calling her Vallow and they're not aware of what's going on, then I think he's going to be the one to roll on her before her on him. Because like I said, she was still proud to have his name, and he's obviously not wanting to give her his name. He's calling her Vallow. So that's just my theory. So I'm going to play you the little bit of a compilation of all the times where Pryor is calling her Vallow. Here it is.
Date and time did you review that to ensure that there was an accurate copy of what transpired on your interview with Miss Vallow? As well as your girlfriend and Miss Vallow also are active and share the faith in the LDS religion. Is that correct? Yes. Well, if Miss Vallow made some representations about her and Miss Gibbs' relationship with Tylee, I think that comes in, Judge. There were some religious references on that tape between you and Miss Vallow. At some point, you met Lori Vallow. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you had known Miss Vallow at that point for how long? Lori Vallow said on the tape that she would not tell anything to Al. Was Lori Vallow present for that? Topic of discussion was Lori Vallow?
It was everybody.
Okay, and everybody meaning Lori Vallow. How would you describe the relationship based on the knowledge that you have of between Alex Cox and Lori Vallow? And you two were more than close friends. You were almost sisters with Lori Vallow, weren't you? The one about King Noah that you were discussing with Lori Vallow, what is the source? Did you ever discuss with Lori Vallow your girlfriend's relationship with Tylee? Lori Vallow and Alex Cox were residing together in Unit 175.
Okay, y'all, that's only some of them. There's so many more where he calls her Miss Vallow, because every time he talks about her, he calls her either Lori Vallow or Miss Vallow. So I just try to pick out some of them just to prove my point and show you that he's calling her Miss Vallow and Chad is just letting him do it. Let me know what you think about that theory. That I'm thinking that, I don't think Chad's gonna stand beside his little lady, and she's was probably planning on standing beside him. I don't know what she sees in that guy. No, I don't know what they see in each other, I guess. Ugh. They're both horrible, horrible people, and that's probably why they're attracted to each other. Well, I know there's way more to it than that, what makes people attracted to each other, and as far as their types of personality, the ones that prey on the vulnerable and weak, and the ones they can manipulate, but that's a video for a whole nother video, so I'm not going to get into that right now. Okay, so I've got a compilation I'm working on also after this. It'll be coming out next, of Pryor and his sayings. I just thought it would be just to find some humor in his mean ways. He's a mean guy, but just to put all of his little, there's a few different things, like I said, quite honestly, and there's a couple other ones that he says. Quite frankly, Judge, I oughta be able to gosh, I oughta be able to, quite frankly, I oughta be able to shut up is what you oughta be able to do. Because quite honestly, I find you freaking annoying and mean and rude and quite honestly, Pryor, your face offends me. Do you have some kind of medical issue that makes you so gosh darn ugly that I can't even stand to look at you? Or... Okay, sorry guys, I know I'm being silly and it sounds immature, but I just can't believe that he was basically making fun of somebody because they were having trouble hearing. Like how he treated David Warwick, and then how he questioned Melanie because she would sit there and think about her answers, like in her head, before she would answer them because she wanted to be accurate. I would have been doing the same thing. And he had to try to like say she had some kind of auditory problem, and then freaking was making fun of David Warwick for not being able to hear. Sorry, then I normally wouldn't sit there and make fun of somebody, but I just I don't. Some of the stuff he was trying to do was just uncalled for, in my opinion. But and then his like whining, like, well, I should be able to. I don't know. Someone just put it together in a video. So yeah, I'm in the process of making that one too. So let me know if you guys enjoy that kind of stuff. Kind of get a laugh in this sad situation, but at least it helps because you gotta do it. Just make sure you guys laugh every day, at least once, because if not, this is some deep stuff. And if you're not making sure that you're finding, I should say, if you don't have a sense of humor, at least a little bit, then these heavy topics could take you to a dark place, and you don't want to be at a place like that. So you need to either, whether it's taking a break from it, which a break, yeah, you need breaks too, but also trying to keep it light and finding some sense of humor. And it doesn't mean you're being disrespectful and that you think the situation is funny, but there's a difference. There's a line there, and hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about. So I know some of you guys will, some of you guys probably won't, but hopefully most of you guys do. If you're like me and you're studying true crime and every day you're either researching or you're looking into it, you're studying, you're trying to figure it out, and you don't have a sense of humor, or you don't find some kind of laughter and comedy and just happiness throughout the day, then it's just not going to be good for your mental health, your emotional health, just your well-being, That's what I'm trying to do, because right now there's not much going on in the case, so I'm just trying to bring a little light to it right now while I am kind of wandering, trying to find a new case to kind of dig into. So, and until I find one, I'll try to bring some laughter and joy to you guys. Hopefully, if I can at least make one person laugh, I feel like I succeeded, so, but thank you guys so much for watching, everybody, and all your support. You guys have been amazing, and I really appreciate every one of you guys, all your comments and just all your positive comments. I mean, that keeps me going and keeps me from going to a dark place, I'm just saying just because of the topics. I mean, you guys see these, it's some disturbing stuff sometimes that these cases bring. You guys all have a good night, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye.